Welcome to Unscripted Journeys, the career journey series where we sit down with the leaders behind our organization's success to explore their journeys that shape their careers. I'm your host, Chelsea. In each episode, we speak with leaders across the business to uncover their experiences, decisions, and lessons that have defined their leadership paths, as well as the advice they have for the next generation. Each conversation is packed with honest reflections and key takeaways you can bring into your own career. Let's get started. Mick, it's great to have you here with us today.
Hi, Chelsea. Thanks for the opportunity to join you on this podcast. My name is Mick Taylor. I'm the General Manager of Mega Fortris Australia, and I've been in the business of security seals for more than 40 years.
Did you always know this was the industry you wanted to be in, or did you somehow stumble into it?
Well, to be honest, I didn't set out to work in this industry. My first job was actually in China and glassware department at Target in Warringah Mall. Not long after that, a car accident changed my circumstances and ultimately led me to look for other opportunities. I found a role in the security seal industry through a newspaper advertisement, and what started as a job eventually became a career. The more I learned, the more interested I became. People often see security seals as simple, disposable products, but they actually play an important role in protecting assets, supporting government programs, maintaining accountability, and helping industries operate effectively. What has kept me interested for more than 40 years is the variety. Every customer has a different challenge, and every day presents a different problem to solve.
It's funny how careers sometimes find this rather than the other way around. And I think a lot of people probably don't realize just how much security seals impact everyday life. Tell us a bit about those early days.
I've always been fairly independent. My parents separated when I was only 14 or 15. They ended up moving around 100 kilometres north of Sydney while I stayed behind. From my mid-teens onwards, I'd become quite self-sufficient. I found my own jobs, managed my own expenses and transport, cooked for myself, did my own laundry, and learned to take responsibility for myself at a relatively young age. Looking back, those experiences probably shaped my work ethic more than I realised at the time. By the age of 24, I'd purchased my first home, and I'd already developed a mindset that if something needed to be done, it was up to me to make it happen. So essentially, the buck stopped with me. Professionally, I started in an office role and learned the business from the ground up. One of the most valuable areas I learned was shipping and logistics, because in our industry, if you can't deliver products accurately on time, nothing else matters. I gradually moved into sales, sales management, and eventually the national sales manager. At the same time, I completed an advanced diploma in business accounting. That took 7 years while working 2 jobs and attending classes 3 nights a week. It wasn't always easy, but it taught me discipline, resilience, and the importance of continuous learning.
You started in administration and office support. Looking back now, what do you think that role taught you?
It taught me every detail I learned, inventory control, customer service, shipping documentation, and all the processes that happen behind the scenes to keep customers happy. It also taught me that the people doing these jobs are often the unsung heroes of the business. Those lessons have stayed with me throughout my career. Even today, I still enjoy getting involved in the operational side of the business because I understand how important those functions really are.
Every career has that one moment that changes everything. What would you say yours was?
Without question, joining Mega Fortris and helping establish the Australian operation. I'd spent many years learning the industry and working with highly capable people who each had their own specialist roles. When I joined Mega Fortris, suddenly all of those responsibilities landed on my desk. Finding premises, setting up a warehouse, managing inventory, purchasing stock, handling logistics, servicing customers, and generating sales all became my personal responsibility.
That's a huge leap of faith, especially when you've got a family depending on you. Was there ever a moment where you genuinely thought it might not work?
As I mentioned earlier, the buck stops with me. What made the decision even bigger was the personal risk involved. I had a mortgage, a wife, plans for a family. Walking away from financial security to pursue an opportunity is a very different decision when other people depend on you. I believed in myself and I believed in what we were trying to build, but there were plenty of days where I sat there wondering, what the hell have I done? Looking back, it was the best decision I ever made because it challenged me in ways that ultimately helped me grow, but professionally and personally.
Starting a business is one thing, but keeping it going through difficult periods is another. During those tougher moments, whether in the early years or through COVID, what kept you going?
When we started Mega Fortris Australia, we didn't have enough money for me to draw a salary for around 6 months. I had a mortgage, a wife, children on the horizon, and a business that needed customers. The reality was simple. If you didn't sell, you didn't eat. People often talk about motivation, but for me, it wasn't really about motivation. It was about responsibility. I'd learned from a young age to be self-sufficient and find solutions rather than waiting for somebody else to solve a problem. That mindset became incredibly important during both the startup years and later during COVID. COVID by far was the most challenging period of my career. For almost 2 years, our monthly expenses exceeded our sales. Every month was a challenge and every sale mattered. My biggest concern wasn't actually myself. It was our staff. I worried about how they would support themselves and their families if things deteriorated further. Those experiences taught me resilience, adaptability, cash flow management, and the importance of maintaining strong relationships with customers. They also taught me that persistence is often underrated. Most problems can be solved if you're prepared to keep turning up and keep looking for opportunities.
I really like that you mentioned your staff first. It says a lot about the kind of leader you are, and that your biggest concern wasn't yourself, but the people counting on you. And I think that's something a lot of people don't see. As a leader, you're not just thinking about the business, you're thinking about the people behind it and the families who depend on it. Despite those challenges, you've accomplished quite a lot over the years. Is there one achievement that you're especially proud of?
There have been quite a few highlights over the years. One of the things I'm most proud of is the GB box. Back in 2006, our small Australian office designed a bullion transport box for G4S security. That product went on to become a global standard within the Mega Fortris group and has sold more than 100,000 units around the world.
That's amazing. To see something designed in Australia become a product that's used around the world must be incredibly rewarding.
I'm also extremely proud of the work we've done supporting government projects. For many years, we've supplied tags and seals used to manage fisheries, wildlife harvesting programs, and environmental controls.
Wow, I don't think most people would ever associate security seals with something like wildlife conservation or fisheries management. I think most people only picture seals being used on containers or cargo. It really goes to show how much happens behind the scenes that people never think about.
Many people don't realise that a simple seal can help regulate lobster fisheries, manage kangaroo and crocodile harvesting programs, and support sustainable industries that contribute significantly to the Australian economy. I'm also proud of our long-standing involvement with electoral commissions, particularly the Australian Electoral Commission, which we've supported since 2016. More recently, I've been excited about the growth of our racing and drug sciences business through our urine and blood testing kits. The response we received recently at iCrav Melbourne in 2026 was outstanding, and looking forward to continuing that momentum as we move towards Edinburgh in 2027. The most rewarding part isn't necessarily the sales, it's seeing something you've helped create continue to make a difference years later.
Was there a lesson you had to learn the hard way?
This is a pretty simple one, actually. Probably trusting people too quickly. I've always believed in relationships and giving people opportunities. But over the years, I've learned that trust and accountability need to go hand in hand. I've worked with people who haven't always shared the same values or commitment, and some have left and taken customers with them. Those experiences can be incredibly disappointing because you've invested time, trust, and energy into both the people and the relationships. The positive side is that I've learned the importance of governance, accountability, process. Since the Mega Fortris Group became a publicly listed organisation, our governance standard have increased significantly, and I believe that has strengthened the professionalism of the organisation as a whole.
If you could sit down with 20-year-old Mick today, what advice would you give him?
Well, I'd probably tell myself to listen more and worry less about trying to prove myself. When I was younger, I was very confident and probably a little bullish at times. I wanted to succeed, and I wanted people to know I could do the job. I think experience has taught me that confidence is important, but listening is equally important. Some of the best lessons I've learned have come from customers, colleagues, and people with completely different experiences from my own. I'd also tell myself not to be afraid of setbacks. Looking back, most of the challenges and mistakes I made turned out to be valuable lessons that have gone on and helped me later in life.
What's the best career advice that's ever stuck with you?
One of my favourite sayings has always been, get the order first and worry about the details later. A very dear friend of mine told me that. Now, obviously, the details matter and you need to understand them thoroughly, but there is no development without sales. I've always believed that opportunities create momentum. Once you've secured the opportunity, you can apply your knowledge, you can apply your team, and you can apply your processes to deliver that outcome. Without sales, there is no growth, there is no innovation, and there is no future.
Has your definition of success changed over the years?
Well, when I was younger, success was probably measured by sales figures, promotions, and business growth. Today, I see success very differently. Success is seeing employees develop and grow in confidence. It's also watching people take on responsibilities they once thought were beyond them. It's seeing customers succeed because of solutions you've helped provide. It's also seeing a product like our GB box, which started as an Australian idea, become a recognised and used product throughout the world. It's building a business with a reputation for integrity, reliability, and customer service. And most importantly, it's leaving the organisation stronger than you found it and creating opportunities for the next generation to succeed. The older I get, the more I value people, relationships, and the legacy over personal achievements.
I really like that perspective. It shifts the focus from personal achievements to helping others succeed as well. Has there been anyone who's really inspired or influenced your career?
I think I've always been inspired by people who take responsibility and back themselves. I can think of many. Building a business requires a lot of self-belief, particularly when there are no guarantees. Throughout my career, I've been fortunate to have known people around me who have challenged me, supported me, helped me grow. I do have a mentor and he knows who he is. His guidance over the years has been incredibly valuable and I wouldn't be here without him. I've also been inspired by many of our customers. When you work alongside people who are passionate about what they do, whether it's fisheries management or logistics, maybe the racing industry, government projects even, their commitment often inspires you to do better yourself.
You mentioned responsibility has always been a big part of who you are. Has finding work-life balance become easier over the years? Or is it still something you're working on?
I think, to be honest, I don't think I've mastered work-life balance, and it's something I do really need to work on. I generally work probably 10 to 12 hours a day at times. I check emails on weekends, when I'm sick, and even when I'm on annual leave. Gosh, I even do it when I'm sitting on the toilet. I respond to every email I receive. The only time I truly switch off is when I don't have internet access or I'm sitting on a plane because I don't have internet access. I'm passionate about what I do. I care deeply about our customers and our business. But if I'm being completely honest, finding a better balance is probably one of those things I still need to improve upon.
I think a lot of people listening will relate to checking emails a little more often than they like. You've led teams for many years now. How would you describe your leadership style?
For me, leadership means leading from the front. I would never ask anybody to do something I'm not prepared to do myself. Even today, I still drive a forklift every day. I unload containers and get involved in operational tasks whenever required. The downside of that, of course, is that I probably don't delegate enough. Sometimes it's quicker to do something yourself than explain it to somebody else. Probably not the right thing to do, but sometimes it really is just quicker to get in and get it done. Over times, I've learned that part of leadership is giving people opportunities to learn and grow, even if they don't do things exactly the same way you would. It's okay to let them make mistakes, and I'm only just starting to learn that, and I'm almost encouraging it to a degree. For me, leadership isn't about titles, certainly not at my age. Now it's about accountability, setting an example, and helping other people succeed.
I like that. Leading from the front rather than just giving instructions. Looking ahead, what does the next chapter look like for you?
I think I'd like to see Mega Fortris Australia continue to grow while maintaining the reputation we've worked so hard to build. Anything other than that would be a travesty, to be fair. We're currently working very, very hard to expand our team with another sales professional, which we're considering putting on later this year. And we've recently added another support resource in Malaysia to strengthen our administration and logistics capabilities. Personally, I'd like to spend more time mentoring the next generation, helping develop future leaders and ensuring the business is positioned for long-term success. For the time being now, we're a small organisation and I still play a very, very big part of that. So for me, at the moment, I can see myself behind the helm or the wheel and ensuring that I provide that mentorship to as many people that we can bring through the organisation as possible.
Is there anything happening right now that you're particularly excited about?
The area that I'm most excited about right now is our continued growth in the racing and drug sciences area. The response we received at iCrav in Melbourne in 2026 was exceptional, and we're looking forward to continuing that momentum as we move towards Edinburgh in 2027. I'm also excited about any opportunity where we can develop innovative products, strengthen partnerships, and solve new challenges for customers. That's always been one of the most enjoyable parts of the job.
And on a personal level, what's next for you?
Now that Mega Fortris is publicly listed, I'm increasingly interested in becoming the best company director I can be and contributing more strategically at a board level into the future. Having said that, I'm still passionate about daily sales. I genuinely enjoy the challenge of finding opportunities, building relationships, and winning new business. There is still a tremendous sense of satisfaction that comes from closing a deal and knowing that you've earned a customer's trust. I don't think that particular enthusiasm will ever disappear in me. That's just something that I've been kind of born to do.
You've shared a lot about your career today, but what's something people will probably be surprised to learn about you?
Oh, well, I'm not really sure on that one. Where do I start? Well, I've been in the same industry for more than 40 years, and despite being the general manager, I still drive a forklift. I help unload containers when they arrive. I hold a master security license. I've been involved in kangaroo harvesting programs, spent time on fishing boats, tagging lobsters. I've worked on election security projects and even found myself talking, to racehorses, waiting for them to wee into a pan to provide urine samples for testing. It's probably not what most people would imagine when they hear the word security seals. And probably, if nothing more, just a tidbit. Does anyone realise that I actually own more than 40 guitars?
40 guitars? I definitely wasn't expecting that. That's quite the collection. Before we wrap up, I always like to end with one final question. Whenever things get stressful or challenging, is there a quote, or maybe just a saying, that you find yourself coming back to?
I don't really have a motivational quote, but I do have a couple of sayings my team would recognise immediately. One is Captain Obvious. A former employee actually bought me a Captain Obvious t-shirt because apparently I have the habit of pointing out what I think are Captain Obvious solutions to problems. The other one is, this will only take 5 minutes. Everyone who works with me knows that if I say that to you, they're probably about to lose the next half an hour of their day. I think a little humour goes a long way when you're dealing with challenges. Sometimes it's the only silver lining that you will ever find.
What stood up to me from my conversation with Mick was the time-old saying that success isn't built overnight. It's built through consistency, resilience, and a willingness to keep learning. One of the biggest lessons he shared was that you don't have to start with the perfect career plan. Mick's journey began in an entry-level administrative role, and by learning every part of the business, from logistics to customer service and sales, he gradually worked his way up to leading Mega Fortris Australia. He also reminded us that challenges often become the biggest turning points in our careers. Whether it was taking the leap to build Mega Fortris Australia from the ground up, or navigating the uncertainty of the COVID years, his focus was always on finding solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Another takeaway that really resonated with me was the importance of relationships. Throughout the conversation, Mick spoke about earning customers' trust, supporting employees, and creating opportunities for others to grow. For him, success today isn't just about sales figures. It's about leaving the business stronger than he found it. I also love this advice to his younger self. Listen more and worry less about proving yourself. Experience has taught him that some of the best lessons come from listening to customers, colleagues, and people with different perspectives. And finally, it was his leadership philosophy. Mick believes that leaders should lead from the front. Even as general manager, he still jumps in to help with day-to-day operations because he understands that no role is too small when you're building a successful team. Whether you're just starting your career or have years of experience behind you, I think there's something we can all take away from Mick's journey. Keep learning, stay adaptable, value the people around you, and never underestimate the power of perseverance. That brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you found valuable insights and key takeaways from this conversation. If you have any thoughts, reflections, or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of Unscripted Journeys.